Good morning and welcome back to It's Just a Thought with Brother Justin Colquitt. And we're going to continue the series we've been in talking about these excuses that I've been told throughout my ministry about why people don't go to church. I've talked to folks that say, well, it's my only day off. It's the only time I can get some rest. We talked about that. That I worship at home. I don't need to worship with the Lord, and so we went through that. And last week we talked about why I don't like music or the music that particular church is playing, and so we went through that as well. And I have another one today that really it bothers me because I hear it so often, and it bothers me because it's an indictment against all Christians, all churches, and it's the reality that we live in. And it's this simple thought. Think about this, or if you've ever said this. The church is full of hypocrites. Let me just simply say this. Yep. The church is full. It sure is full of hypocrites. Let me give you a couple of definitions. The first one is a person who pretends to have virtues, moral or religious beliefs, principles, that sort of thing, that he or she does not possess. So pretend to have these principles and virtues that they don't really possess, especially a person whose actions belie stated beliefs. In other words, I say that I believe and have these virtues, yet I don't really have them. But here's another definition. A person who fiends or desires some desirable or publicly approved attitude. And here's the kicker, especially one whose private life, opinions, or statements belie his or her public statements. They desire very much to be approved in the public's eye, yet they do not have the capability to do so. They're pretending. They're hypocrites. Well, guess what, folks? I just described all of humanity. Every single one of us. Every person I know, including myself, I don't take myself out of this, think or want people to think better of us than they probably actually should. And that's saying that many times every single one of us would want someone to look at us differently and to think of us better than we actually are. Just take this setting, for instance. Maybe I'm trying to convey to you that even though I'm an old country boy, I could be really cool and debonair and suave because I have suits hanging here. Maybe you're looking at my Bible here in front of me and you're going, oh, he is so spiritual. Maybe I want you to think that I am super spiritual and I know all that is in these scriptures. Maybe I want you to think that I'm just a intellectual kind of person because I'm sitting in a really cool chair and I have new glasses, and maybe I want you to think I'm super smart. Maybe I want you to think that I'm super brave and super the big consummate American because I've spent time in the military and there's my awards and you can see that. Maybe I want you to think better of me because of all these things. You think that's true? Listen, I want to give us a thought this morning. We all need Jesus. We need His Word and we need His people. Me included. Every day we go through life and we are faced with trying to become more and more like Jesus Christ. And how do we portray that? How do we go about our daily business and continue to be real with God's people? There's a thought out there that the church is full of hypocrites, and the thought is true. And I'm the biggest one. Let me read you something out of Scripture. Matthew says in chapter 11 and verse 28, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. Take my yoke," in verse 29, "upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." Let me ask you a question. Are you today saying that I'm not going to church to be with God's people, to get to know Him better through Scripture and the preached word and the sung word? Are you saying that you are not willing to do that because the church is full of people trying to figure things out just like you? It's just a thought.